Thank you, everybody, and welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the Mayor and Council, Monday, August 24th, 2026, starting at exactly 6:30 p.m. Missy, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Nunziato.
Here.
Council President McGowan.
Present.
Councilman Coakley. Councilman Errico. Councilman Guzman.
Here.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohn.
Here.
Councilman Mazzone.
Here. Thank you. If you're willing and able, please stand for the salute to the flag. Wendy? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. I didn't even see you. Sorry. Could you please read the provisions?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, notice of this meeting was transmitted to the record in Herald News and filed with the Borough Clerk on November 21, 2025, and is posted on the bulletin board outside of Borough Hall.
Any changes?
Yes, we'll be adding under the consent agenda authorization, item G, authorize the Friends of the Library fundraiser event on October 14th to be held at the library. That's all I have.
Anybody else? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Motion.
Motion, please.
Motion?
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Council President McGowan.
Yes.
Councilman Guzman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohn.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzone.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinances on first read. Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. This first one is regarding a salary ordinance. Missy, can you please explain the ordinance to be? No. Missy, would you mind reading the ordinance by title only?
In order to amend and supplement an ordinance regulating the employment, tenure, and discharge of certain officers and employees of the Borough of Rutherford under the provisions of the Civil Service Act of New Jersey, number 3593-21, adopted December 28, 2021.
Thank you, Missy. I'd like to make a motion to move that the ordinance be passed on first reading and advertised according to law.
I have a motion by the Council President. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Council President McGowan.
Yes.
Councilman Guzman.
Yes.
Councilman Delroy Cohn.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzone.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Guzman.
Thank you very much, Mayor. First reading I have today is establishing a handicapped parking space, East Pierpont Avenue, Pierpont School. Missy, would you please read the ordinance by title only?
In ordinance to amend and revise Chapter 126, Vehicles and Traffic of the Borough Code of the Borough of Rutherford to establish a handicap parking space on East Pierpont Avenue.
Motion that the ordinance be passed on first reading and advertised according to law.
I have a motion by Councilman Guzman. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Councilman Delroy Cohn. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Council President McGowan.
Yes.
Councilman Guzman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohn.
Yes.
Councilman.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman?
Next, I have establishing a handicap parking space on Park Avenue. Missy, would you please read the ordinance by title only? I'll get it out.
In order to amend and revise Chapter 126, Vehicles and Traffic of the Borough Code of the Borough of Rutherford to establish a handicap parking spot on Park Avenue dedicated solely for the use by a vehicle bearing the disability placard permit number 1629HM.
Motion that the ordinance be passed on first reading and advertised according to law.
I have a motion by Councilman Guzman. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Council President. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Council President McGowan.
Yes.
Councilman Guzman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Delroy Cohn.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzone.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, Councilman Maison.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have two items this evening. The first is amending the licensing requirements for cat licensing. Missy, if you could please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending Chapter 20A of the Borough Code of the Borough of Rutherford entitled Cat Licensing.
I'd like to make a motion to move the ordinance be passed on first reading and advertised according to law.
I have a motion by Councilman Mazone. May I have a second, please?
Second?
Second by Councilwoman Del Rey Cohen. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Council President McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilman Delarray Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Mazone?
Yes. So I have a second ordinance on first reading. This is amending the licensing requirements for dog licensing. Missy, if you could please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending Chapter 26 of the Borough Code of the Borough of Rutherford entitled Dogs, Pets, Animals, and Kennels.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to move the ordinance be passed on first reading and advertised according to law.
I have a motion by Councilman Mazone. May I have a second, please?
Second?
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Council President McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Delarray Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Mazone?
Yes.
Thank you. We have no ordinances on second read. We have no resolutions. Hearing of citizens.
David Schneider, 8 Eastern Way. These pictures were taken by me yesterday morning in South Carolina. The truth is, I was a little early this day and business was just starting to pick up, but you can still find probably 25 to 30 bikes. An hour later, it would have been bikes as far as the eye can see. Wouldn't it be cool if Park Avenue could be a destination for people on bikes just like this? There's a huge pent-up demand for something like this. In South Carolina, I saw people of all ages, sizes, shapes, and colors on bikes. Not just a few weirdos like me, but hundreds. Old men and young families getting where they're going with no concern for the price of gas or will they park when they get there. People will come from all around. Myself, I rode my rental electric bike 20 miles round trip for my breakfast and still had enough energy and motivation to ride around town another 3 hours, walk 20 minutes back to the B&B in the summer heat for a shower and change, then walk another 15 minutes for dinner and ice cream and 15 minutes back again. My wife was with me every mile and we spent hundreds of dollars that day at local businesses. All told, I probably rode 40 miles and walked another 5. If I could do the same here in New Jersey, I would do it every day. But I don't know about you, but anytime I have to drive anywhere, close or far, it leaves me completely drained. The prospect usually just keeps me at home. You'll say, it's easy to do this in South Carolina, but it's too crowded here. I'll say because it's so crowded, it's that much more important to do it here. What's the number one thing that makes it feel so crowded here? It's cars. There's plenty of space here in Rutherford for a lot more people, but you can't keep stuffing more and more cars into smaller and smaller spaces. Eventually, something's going to have to give. A place like Rutherford will usually try to handle this by limiting or suppressing development, but this isn't a good long-term strategy. It can only lead to stagnation and eventual decline. A good solution is to give people viable options to get around by means other than driving. The biggest barrier is that people just don't feel safe riding a bike or even just walking. Did I mention that these pictures were taken in conservative South Carolina? This is a place where bike lanes are considered a communist conspiracy to steal your freedom. If they can do it there, certainly we can do it here. You'll say there's already a bike lane on Orient Way and nobody uses it. Why should we add more bike lanes that nobody will use? I know the answer to this question, but I suggest that you think about it yourself, and maybe we can compare notes at the next council meeting.
Thank you.
Wendy Armacost, 129 Maple Street. I'm here to, I hope, just clear up some misconceptions regarding the tree ordinance that I've been coming and bugging council about. This is an ordinance required as part of the permit application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for stormwater discharge. I have from the DEP website, from specifically the page Department of Environmental Protection, Bureau of NGP DES Stormwater Permitting, Model Ordinances and Regulatory Mechanisms. And it is the MS4 Tree Removal replacement ordinance FAQs, basically. Number 3, who needs to adopt the tree removal replacement ordinance? Every municipality in New Jersey that is regulated under the MS4 Tier A permit, which we are, pretty much every municipality in New Jersey is Tier A. That changed about in 2022, I believe. This ordinance must be applicable for all types of property that the municipality has jurisdiction over, which includes private properties such as residences, apartment complexes, affordable housing, public lands, and rights of way. So I don't know if one of the reasons that this is stalled so long is because for some reason we think we're exempt from this. Everything that I am reading is not showing that that is the case. And there are plenty of other municipalities who have already enacted this, so I'm sure they would love to know what Rutherford thinks our loophole is. I don't want to see more trees cut down on private property. We are the borough of trees. There are ways to do it. The Shade Tree Commission has given Mr. Coakley a sample ordinance that is based on the Secaucus one that Frank Sasso, the head of the Shade Tree Committee, put together for them. There is no reason that this should be taking long. I'm under no illusion that this is an easy thing to do. I know that it's going to be debated. I know it's going to be talked back and forth, that we're going to have to change things. But the idea that this is something that possibly council has no appetite for is ridiculous. It's a requirement from the state of New Jersey. We have to have an appetite for this. There's no getting around it. So with every tree cut down, the borough of trees loses a little more of its charm, a lot more of its shade, and all those roots that capture stormwater, which is why this is part of a stormwater ordinance, and help prevent flooding. Please make this ordinance a priority. It is taking far too long. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Frank?
Frank Wilson, 171 Montrose Ave, Rutherford. Just a quick question. I didn't understand it on today's ordinance with the salaries thing, where it has steps, step 1 through step 7 on this. Is a step every year, or is that within the year they can get these increases based on how good or bad they do on evaluations? Because, I mean, I looked at it and it doesn't say, it says step 1 through step 7. Like the police contract is every year they are entitled to an increase based on their contracts. Every year they get a raise, regardless. I don't know if that position also is involved with the union, that all of a sudden they get an increase regardless. But it just says steps. It doesn't clarify what a step is. So is that subject to an evaluation, or is that just mandatory that every year they get an increase regardless? So, I mean, if you guys could answer that. And the second thing is, I don't know if you've seen what's been going on in Jersey City. I've got relatives there, friends there, and they had to get a $100 million loan, not a bailout, a loan from the state to get a 15.1% increase on the municipal. And they're going to be at 14% on the Board of Education, and then I think another 14% in the county. And that came down from 20% to 15.1. And last year, they only had a 1% for the municipal. Until now, all of a sudden, the books are open, and you see where stuff was going on. We're far from them, but just lessons learned. If you see how bad a shape they got in that quick, if there's something proactively we can do in the future that doesn't happen to us. You know, it's happened to Montclair, it's happened to Jersey City, it's happened to a couple of places down the shore. I mean, I think we're better than they are, but it just shows you how fast you can get in the dumper. And I've been watching it, and it's real sad to see how fast they went, and nobody had their guard up of what shape they're in. But I think we are better than that, but just lessons learned. So again, that thing here, I was just curious if that's in a year you can get 3 raises, 4 raises based on performance, or is it just like 1 a year like the police get? So, thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Before I open up to any council comment, Bob, do you want to answer the steps?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, the steps are January 1st increases only. It's cost of living increase. Sorry? Correct. January 1st.
Thank you. Now it'll open for any council comment. Anyone from the council wishing to speak? You're all the way down there.
I know, I may as well not even be here. Yeah, let me speak to Ms. Armacost first, because we've already spoke about this quite a bit, including today. And I just want to be sure about a few things. This has taken a disappointingly long time. I do not believe, and I want to be really clear that I do not believe that there is any loophole someone's trying, and that, you know, I don't know who you were quoting when you said appetite in quotes. I don't know if I said that, but I don't think I did. So I don't even think we're at the point to understand the appetite of the governing body, because unfortunately there has not been a draft ordinance that has been presented to the governing body. I have gotten more involved in this issue, trying to push it forward, and I've asked our borough attorney to meet with Frank Sasso with, if it is the Secaucus ordinance, with that ordinance, to understand what it is in that ordinance they'd like to, that the Shade Tree Commission would like to see happen here. I think the issues that we run into, or that we want to be very mindful of, and that I've spoken to the borough administrator about, is implementation. How do we implement this? And as you said, it is a somewhat heavy lift to tell private residents what to do with their property. Whether we agree that trees are wonderful or not, it's just that concept is a very heavy lift for people to wrap their heads around. So I've asked our borough attorney to meet with Mr. Sasso to get a better understanding of what they felt the important components of the Secaucus ordinance were, and then what would the applicability be here. And then hopefully we would have a draft that could then be passed around to the governing body, which is what happens, so that folks can ask questions and give their input. There is no excuse for the amount of time that it has taken. I don't have any answers other than you have my word that we are looking at it now. I think the other thing that this has highlighted for me is, how are we using the Shade Tree Commission, and are we using it to its fullest intention? Its intention predates me, but I think that's something we can look at. And I think the final thing that I've talked to Bob about is, are we educating our community enough about how the borough approaches trees? I think we see trees get cut down. I don't think we see a lot of talk about the trees that get put up. There is an inventory kept. Okay, there is an inventory kept that I feel that we should be advertising, and so folks know that this is information that we keep and we take seriously. So I know Bob and I have talked about having that information available on our website so that folks can understand what DPW in collaboration, although I think the collaboration isn't quite as seamless as I would hope it would be, but that DPW is in collaboration with Shade Tree to make sure that we are mindful of the borough of trees has enough trees. I will quote Chris Seiler, my very first meeting with Chris Seiler when I joined the council as the liaison for DPW. He said, there is one undeniable truth in the borough of Rutherford. People have strong feelings about trees. People either love them or they hate them. And I think that truer words have never been spoken to me about this borough. So luckily I love them. And I want to see something happen that brings us into compliance. I think there's a lot of debate over what compliance looks like, because we are being asked by the DEP to ask our private residents to do something on their private property. But setting that aside, there is the intention, and I saw emails flying back and forth today about getting Jonathan time with Mr. Sasso, so hopefully that is coming. Mr. Schneider, I agree with you that I would love to see more bikes. It's so interesting because I view Rutherford biking from the perspective of a mother whose child, I would like literally have to pry him off his bike until he got his driver's license. I feel like I'm constantly seeing young people riding bikes, not necessarily safely, around Rutherford, but I think we take seriously when you say you don't feel safe doing that here. I know that Councilman Guzman has been very focused on efforts around pedestrian safety and overall safety, I'll say non-vehicle safety in their travels. But I do believe that some of it is a space issue. I would not speak to whether the Orient Way bike lane is used or not. I take the bus to work and I see people using it all the time, so I would never argue it's not used, but we take your concern seriously, and I don't know if Councilman Guzman, we could talk more at some other point about what we're doing for bikes, but, I think that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman? Got the hand all the way up.
Thank you, Mayor. Wendy, of course, I want to just thank you for keeping everybody on their toes and making sure that things are, that this continues to move along the true ordinance. I'm going to be honest with you, it's too early for me to comment on anything. I haven't seen what the proposal of the ordinance yet. My concerns, obviously, as you stated, when it comes to private property, is always a concern. Again, I'm not going to get deep into it until I see what is written and what is proposed. But thank you very much, and once it does come through, I'll make sure that I'll give it 100% attention to understand what is proposed and how we can write our own here in Rutherford. Mr. Snyder, thanks for coming in. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for bringing your bike thoughts to us. It's not the first time that we are being asked about more bike lanes. It predates me being on the council. Orient Way bike lane predates me as well. But I would never say it's impossible to arrange something like this in our borough. It just takes well thought out process and ideas to figure out where we can put bike lanes. I mean, I bike myself. I would love to see more bike lanes here in the borough. We just got to have to make sure that it applies to public safety properly, that we're not creating a traffic hazard. We're not creating more hazard by whatever plans we may decide on. But I do like the idea of having more bike access throughout the borough. I actually will take Councilwoman Delray Cohn up on her offer and sit down and speak with her and see what ideas, as well as my other colleagues, see what other ideas we can come up with, along with our borough administrator and our engineers, see if there's something we can try to make happen. But thank you for coming in and bringing that to our attention. Mr. Wilson, it's always good to see you. That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for your comments this evening. Wendy, I concur. I appreciate the Councilwoman's succinct explanation of the situation, and hopefully we'll have something to read so we can even get to that stage about batting it around and having conversation. We got to get to that place, and so I appreciate your due diligence in holding us accountable to making sure that that process continues to move. And I also appreciate the commentary, Councilwoman, about purposefulness of what our commissions, committees do, and the responsiveness to this governing body, so that in fact we don't wind up in these undesirable situations that seem to perpetuate themselves, right? So your frustration, I wrote it down, it is noted, so I want you to know I absolutely appreciate, and I thank you for coming here and holding us accountable to it. And for everybody who, of course, is going to be involved in moving this forward so we can at least get to a conversation. Mr. Wilson? As always, good to see you. Yes, I have been monitoring that situation that's happening, not just in Jersey City, as you've referenced, but certainly in so many municipalities around us. And we are seeing it involving school districts. We're seeing it involve municipalities. We're seeing, quite frankly, something I don't think we've seen in a really, really long time, which is it's showing how important it is that those lines of communication between the entities that control the financial mechanisms of our communities, how important and imperative it is that we talk to each other, that we're mindful of the work of each other. And most importantly, at least in my position as the liaison for the council for finance, and having done that now for many, many years with several of my colleagues in second, that conversation about planning appropriately, not just for a rainy day, but really understanding that there are fixed costs that we no longer have control over. We've seen with healthcare, health insurance, and its impact to our boards of education and our municipality budgets, just how spiraling this challenge has become. And I will tell you that I am most grateful for the good work of Borough Administrator Bob over there and for Gordon, our CFO, both of whom spend an extraordinary amount of time with our department heads and with all of us in being good stewards of this budget. And most importantly, their willingness to listen to us when we're advocating fiercely about being mindful of the impact of rising costs on taxpayers. And so it is a delicate balance. I wish that there was a great solution. I'm sure somebody far smarter than I will come up with something at some point, but for the time being, thank you for recognizing the really, really good hard work that has gone into trying to maintain our evenness and to ensure that the quality of life in this borough, that people feel confident that every dollar that they're spending is going right back into our community to make this a very desirable place to live and raise our families. So thank you for taking a moment to recognize that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So,
Thank you, Mayor. Wendy, as my colleagues have said, our apologies that this has taken as long as it has to get a draft of this ordinance. I think it's a complex issue. I'm looking forward to seeing what this draft has, what it provides. I appreciate just, our conversations, the conversations with Shade Tree, just thinking about impermeable surfaces, the impact on flooding. So, I think it's, I think to say there's no appetite, I think is absolutely not correct, but I do think that it's, what it means to place a burden on a homeowner, I think is all factoring in my thought process anyway. But I appreciate you coming here as you do regularly, holding us accountable for this. So thank you for that. Mr. Snyder, your thoughts or comments around bicycling and other modes of transportation, pedestrian safety. I'm happy to align with my council colleagues to look at whatever options there are that can be there. I know that the chief is here. I think about traffic safety often. So whatever we can do, I think we should think about it. I think of crowding and looking at our borough and the way it's changing. So different modes of transportation I think are important. And last but not least, Mr. Wilson, thank you for coming in and just sharing as you usually do. And yeah, whether it be Jersey City, Montclair, Nutley, there's been a lot of districts and towns that have run into challenges. And I agree, we certainly don't want to find ourselves there. So thank you.
thank you, Councilman. We're going to move on now to consent items. Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. All items authorized to be consent by the council will be enacted in one motion. These items are routine in nature. Motion.
I have a motion by the Council President. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guzman. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Council President McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deborah Cohen?
Yes, with the exception of the meeting minutes of August 3rd, 2026, from which I abstain.
Councilman Mazzone?
Yes.
Thank you. We have nothing on new business. Council reports. Council President McGowan.
Thank you, Mayor. This evening, just a couple quick things. First, I want to thank our borough administrator, our engineers, and everyone who has been working on our concept rendering for Tamblin Field for the Jake's Law Playground. We are actively reviewing that right now, and we'll be working with our Access for All committee for feedback. And so thank you for everyone who's been involved in this very competitive process that's coming to fruition, and we look forward to seeing this beautiful playground find its way to Tamblin Field very soon. As a gentle reminder, KIPP Center Casino Night, October 16th. It sounds far away. It is not far away. Tickets are on sale. Sponsorships are available. People often ask me, like, well, how much can I sponsor? The answer is you can sponsor anything. Donations are always welcome. This is a hub of this community. It does not only serve the beautiful borough of Rutherford, but also our surrounding communities. It is an extraordinary place for our senior population. And so I thank Kathy Baviello and her team for their great work. Please feel free to reach out to Kathy or any board member or me to inquire about tickets. You can buy a table, you can buy a few, you can donate them so that members who can't afford to go can go. So if you're not able to go, please make that consideration. And finally, as liaison to the public schools, I cannot believe I'm saying this. It's hurting my body as a school person to say this out loud, but school opens next week. First day of school for Rutherford is September 3rd, and so I'd like to be the first among the many to say that I wish good fortune and great success to our class of 2027. I know. Who will begin this year looking at colleges, thinking about trade schools, thinking about their futures. So sending positive wishes to their families and our students and our whole community, including all of our kindergartners who are coming in the door. It's a very, very exciting time. Yeah, I guess that's, I was just trying to do quick math in my head. I graduated in the class of 1990, and I remember when we said the class of 1990, we thought, wow, the world's going to come to an end. And here we are, welcoming the class of 2027. Mayor, that is all I have.
Thank you, Council President. Councilman Guzman.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Nothing officially to report, however, I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. On August 4th, National Night Out was fantastic. Lincoln Park was packed. It was a beautiful night, and as always, our RPD did a fantastic job representing, with all the activities there, the food. I just want to congratulate them on another well-planned event, and it's always a fun event to attend, so can't wait to the next one. Thank you very much. Since my council colleague here teed up the school openings, I'm going to just remind everybody that school is opening, and just like normal procedure here, our borough administrator has taken charge to make sure that all curbs are being repainted and refreshed and crosswalks, so you'll be seeing that going on this week and part of the next. So please be careful when you're going around the schools. There's going to be our workers are out there taking care of things. So to our borough administrator, Bob, thank you once again for always taking the charge on that. Much appreciated. And that's all I have today. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Del Rincon.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to school starting on the 3rd, I wanted to remind the community that our high school football team has their first game this Thursday, actually. So before school starts at 6 p.m. and it's a home game. So I know I have a high schooler who's very excited about the first football game. So if you have the opportunity, especially before school starts, to come out and support our Bulldogs on Thursday evening, I think that's the 27th, at 6 p.m. at Tryon Field, please do that. Also, I wanted to, speaking of recreational programs, I just wanted to congratulate Rutherford Rec on a very successful summer. I'm always stunned by the amount they pull off with their small but mighty team. And this summer was no different, between everything related to the 4th of July and the 250th, but also our day camp, as compared to camps in other towns, is extraordinarily well run. The camp does a wonderful job about training counselors. My daughter spent many years working as a counselor at the Rutherford Rec Camp. So I just like to remind folks, especially as we go into the season of registering youngsters for the rec programming. I know that it's very easy to feel frustration with sometimes with our departments, but I like to remind everyone that they work very, very hard, and especially our rec department, which only has 3 employees. So be gentle to them, and thank you again to them for a really wonderful and safe summer of rec programming. With regards to the Civil Rights Commission, I just want to tee up that the annual Multicultural Festival will take place on Saturday, September 19th from noon to 5 in Lincoln Park. Speaking of small but mighty crews, for various reasons, the commissioners that are available to work in earnest on the Multicultural Festival this year is quite small. So if you do have the interest or feel inclined to give some service to the community, I ask that you consider volunteering for the Multicultural Festival. It's a really wonderful day. I will be there myself. If you have questions about that, you certainly can ask me. And then the final thing I just wanted to, speaking of wonderful departments, I wanted to talk a little bit about the library. If you don't follow the library on social media, I suggest that you do so. The amount of programming that comes out of our library, again, is pretty remarkable, from movies to discussions about books to really wonderful children's programming. It really is all that you would want from a space like that, which is free to everyone and welcoming to all. So as you're thinking about things to do with your children as the weather gets colder, please do consider the library programming. Also, we announced at the start, adding to the agenda, that there will be a program at the library presented by the Friends of the Library and one of my favorite local chefs, Jennifer Costa, who's Sweet Chef Jen. She's going to be doing a cookie decorating class on October 14th at 6 p.m. You do not need to have any baking or artistic skills for that program. If you follow Jen on Instagram, you'll see the beautiful, just remarkable work that she does as a pastry chef. So save that date for October 14th at 6 o'clock, and that is to benefit the Friends of the Library. And then finally, I was going to ask our borough administrator, and I know he loves when I don't tee things up ahead of time, which I didn't do for this, if you can just give the tiniest update on where we are on the Union Avenue project, because I know you've made it through a significant phase for us. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you for giving me a heads up.
You can count on me.
So as part of the process for the grant, we had to do an interview process of the pre-selected design engineering firms that had to seek approval from the state. There are 5 that were pre-approved if we wanted to engage in the design engineering process through the state. The benefit of doing that is the state will pay for the design and engineering of the project. If we chose not to use one of their firms, then the borough would pay for it out of our own taxpayer dollars. So we engaged in the process, and we've interviewed 3 of the 5, and we were actually pretty confident that 2 of them would be the right pick for us. Internally, we've been going back and forth on which one would be the right one, and we've finalized that. That process now is going down to New Jersey DOT. They have to review our recommendation. We'd have to be satisfied with our reasoning, and there's very strict guidelines on what our reasoning can be. We think we've met those conditions. Once they approve our recommendation, then they begin the process of negotiating what the rate will be from that design engineering firm. We hope to have a little bit more finalization on that firm in the next month or 2, and then we begin the process. They have told us the design engineering firms that we've interviewed with to expect this to be a long process, a 2-year process. It's not going to be quick for a variety of reasons. It's just you're dealing with federal government money. There's very strict rules and regulations on how it's spent, on what the requirements are in terms of the design, the inspection process. We have to send a borough employee to a Rutgers class called Responsible Party Training. Those classes are being offered in the fall and I think September through November. So that is a mandatory requirement for us in order to get this grant. So we will send an employee for that process. Once we've completed all that, they can then release the project to us. So, we've talked about this grant now for a year plus. We're probably still 18 months out from actually seeing, a shovel in the ground, or hopefully further along, but definitely late 27 we'll see something going on, and hopefully completion by early 28. But hopefully we'll have a firm in place in the next month or two, and then we can get moving. Thank you.
You didn't need any preparation at all. You're all set. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Maison?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I have no liaison assignment updates this evening. I'll just take a minute to wish all of our residents a happy, safe, and healthy upcoming Labor Day weekend. And as the others have already said, whether you're going K-12, college, or university, hopefully it's a great academic year for all. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Move on to my reports. First, I have recreational season appointments. Attached is the list. I'd ask for council consent.
Motion?
Motion by Council President. May I have a second?
Second?
Second by Councilwoman Del Rey Cohen. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Council President McGowan?
Yes.
Councilman Guzman?
Yes.
Councilman Del Rey Cohen?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And then as a committee assignment, I'm appointing Jared Schaefer to replace Jim Winzalata and thank him for his service. Jim has moved and Jared will be stepping into the role to represent us with TANIC. And I want to thank Jim for his service, and I wish Jared the great success of actually helping us navigate TANIC. There's one other thing that I feel that should be recognized. Our Remembrance 9/11 ceremony this year will be September 11, 2026 at 5 p.m. As everybody is aware, it's the 25th anniversary, so we hope that all can attend, anybody that's available, and our best opportunity to get together and show the families of Rutherford who we are. Thank you. Next, I'm going to have hearing of citizens for agenda items only. Anybody? See none? I'm going to close it to the public, and I'll now ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
I have a motion by the council president. May we have a second? I'm
Second.
sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great night, everybody.